How could you turn your back on your brother? Dad yelled as I looked at my empty account. $88,000 vanished overnight. Mom smiled. It was for his engagement party. He deserves a helicopter entrance and more. I blinked. My brother laughed and said, just do your duty. As the older one, I didn't argue. I simply walked away. This morning, they finally discovered why my name is Alex. I'm 31, the older one, the responsible son. I work as an operations analyst at a logistics company. My desk is always clean. My shirts are always ironed on Sundays, and I can tell you the unit cost of a pallet faster than I can tell you my favorite movie. I grew up in a house where be useful was the closest thing we had to laugh. So I learned to be useful. I fix printers. I organize closets. I send money for a bit. That somehow becomes forever. My brother Ryan is 26. Ryan has charm like a coupon for free forgiveness. He smiles and parking spaces appear. He fills up. Award in school. He won most likely to be on TV. And it stuck to him like glitter. He sells houses now mainly by taking photos and nice kitchens and telling people vibes that calls. And my boy mom says he's got star quality. When I got my first real job, dad said good steady. When Ryan got his first client day, that said finally destiny. Mom is the architect of our family illusions. She loves a plan with a theme and a budget that is flexible as long as the flexibility comes from me. She has lists, binders, taps. She makes coffee in a French press because it looks fancier. Ben microwaves it twice and forget it on the windowsill. She knows exactly what she wants from me before I know I'm in the room. I keep my life simple, a one-bedroom apartment over a dry cleaner, a car that rattles when it idles, a savings account I look at like a pet. I'm trying not to scare. I run before work. I eat oatmeal. I text home safe and the family chat because I always have been in a way that means available. This story begins at my parents' dining table. It's the long one Dad built out of oak when he was still doing carpentry. The varnishes bubbles in it because he rushed the way he rushes when he wants a thing to be admired more than he wants it to be right. Mom had spread out glossy brochures like playing cards, venues, flow, tourist something with a gold foil helicopter on the cover, because apparently those exist. Ryan was half sitting on the edge of a chair, half on his phone, grinning at an angle that said mirror practice. Okay, Mom said, tapping the binder with a pen. Engagement party, not just any party, a statement, a moment. She looked to me like a director about to give the lead actor his cue. We'll need deposits early. Is cheaper. Dad granted the way he does when he has decided we do it right for Ryan. Once in a lifetime. Ryan glanced up. Milk white teeth, has to be epic. She deserves epic. I thought the wedding is the epic part. I said, careful like that. Was testing ice with my foot. Mom, the Page weddings, or for families. This is for their story. Helicopter entrance, very tasteful, not tacky at all. You only live once. She smiled at me. Alex, you know how these vendors book up. You'll handle it. And what I asked. Even though I always knew. Now the budget, she said lightly. You're good with numbers. You know how to do things differently. Ryan leaned back and stretched like a cat. Just don't make it cheap, he said. I have a brand, that added without looking at me. And don't embarrass us. There was the tiny blade hidden in the napkin. Don't embarrass us. Not can we talk. Not what can you do, just the assumption baked into the air. Older equals sponsor, responsible equals invisible wallet. I blew on my coffee and watched the steam slide off. What the actual number, Mom? She looked offended like I had asked how much I love cost. We'll figure it out. We always do, Ryan said. Just to your big rather duty, like the words were a joke he told 100 times, and it always got a laugh. That's founding. He ignored it. Eyes on me. Now don't make this difficult. I felt something small, and my chest shift like a door quietly clicking into a different frame. I wasn't angry. Not yet, just awake. The room smelled like coffee. The end dust and a lemon candle trying too hard. I stood to refill my Mark Anthony breezed in from the kitchen with a tray of deal-old eggs and a comment that landed with that special family accuracy. Alex, you know how to be practical, she said. Your brother knows how to be special. Everyone laughed. I didn't. That was the first trigger, not the helicopter, not the binder, just the sentence that assigned me a role I did not dish, and for I took a sip and said got it. And for once I meant it in a way they didn't hear. It didn't start with helicopters, it started with birthdays, allowances, and what counted as a good reason. When I turned 12, I wanted to set can handbike. Dad said you pay half, you'll take care of it. I mowed lawns, IRA leaves, I counted quarters on the kitchen table. When Ryan turned 12, he wanted a drone. Boys need toys, Dad said, and bought the newest model when it broke because Ryan flew it into the maple. Dad said we'll get it fixed when my bike got a flat. Dad said patch kids in the garage. Shall be a man. Money was a language we spoke without anyone teaching. As grammar, Ryan asked, money came. I asked, money became a lesson. I don't hate that I learned to work, but there's a way lessons cut when they only go one direction. At 17, I worked nights at the grocery store and saved tips in a jar labeled college. Yeah, the jar sat on the top shelf in my closet. One weekend in July, it moved to the kitchen counter just for a minute. Mom said, we need to pay the gas bill before it doubles. We'll put it back. Dad said they did over 3 months minus little because things come up. The jar learned about evaporation. A 20. Ryan borrowed my car for date in return with the bumper tied to the undercarriage with a bungee cord. Long story, he said with a shrug. Dad told me be glad your brother seeing a nice girl. I paid the $412 to fix it because pride doesn't make safe turns. At 23, when I graduated and landed the logistics job, Mom hosted a cookout, and Denise hugged me and whispered, we always knew you'd come in handy. Like I had finally fulfilled some old prophecy. The next week, Dad called. We're switching to a family phone plan. It'll save money. It's safe. There's. I added my car just to set it up and never got it back. When I asked about it 6 months later, Mom said it's hard to bring these things up with everything going on. When isn't something going on? I kept a note on my phone labeled Tolly, $68, Comcast urgent, $340, Ryan's tire blew, $175, Mom's crown popped off, $920 deposit for Ryan's first apartment, $920 credit mix-up, Dad's bridge loan, $200 to cover a client check they promised to pay Friday. They didn't. I deleted the no because it made me someone I didn't want to be, someone who counted, but funny enough, not keeping score only benefits whoever is ahead. That him. Why savings grew anyway. I'm good at starving my what's. I live small, lunch with rice and eggs. I like the number in my bank app more than new shoes. I had a plan, a down payment on a condo in 2 years, maybe a balcony big enough for one share. Then Ryan met Emma. She's kind and gentle, blinks 3 times when she's thinking she made and want to be better. But for him, better, bigger. Suddenly, let's do something nice became. We can't be basic. He asked me to help with the ring. I said that's between you and a jeweler. Be solved, and told Mom I was cold. Mom called and made it moral. We stick together, she said. Don't be the kind of person who watch his family struggle. That a ring isn't a struggle. But in my family definitions, band. The engagement party started as a backyard thing. Then it grew legs. The garden at the Monarch. Mom said eye shining, it's magical. Then came a string quartet, a champagne wall, and neon cursive sign, just the insurance has to be special, Ryan said, showing me a clip of a couple stepping out of a helicopter while petals fell like snow. It's just once, he said. Look at the comments. Everyone cries. Who's paying? I asked, like the fool who wonders where the water comes from. Dad said you know we're stretched, as if he could narrate my checking account. I'll maybe scale back, I said gently. Do a cool car instead. Mom gave me the smile. you give a child who colors outside the lines. Do you think small because you're used to small, or because I have to pay for small? I snapped back to quickly. Dad's jaw tighten. Watch your tone. The planning meetings turn strange. Not loud fights, just quite nice. Alex, you're so organized, Mom purred, handing me a folder of invoices. Alex, you're steady, Dad added, sliding a deposit form across the table. Ryan winked at me like we were partners in a heist, except I was the vault that I tried to set a boundary. I said, I'll give $1,500. That's what I can do. For a moment, I felt bold, like I'd finally drawn a line. Mom blinked. That doesn't even cover the ice sculpture. She wasn't kidding. Dad leaned in. Don't be petty. Petty is a helicopter, I said. He tilted his head like he didn't even recognize the word. That a week later, or I showed up with a spreadsheet, simple columns for vendor cost, date, who's paying. I said, let's be clear. Let's be fair. Ryan laughed. This feels like a tax audit. Mom said, money's energy. Alex, don't make it ugly. Dad said, we'll handle it, which in our house always meant you will. Then I started noticing odd things at my place. A drawer slightly open where I keep my passport, the iPad I'd once used to set up the family phone plan, moved. A post-it with a code scribbled halfway, then torn. It made me feel paranoid, which is a lousy way to feel in your own home. I changed my bank password, added to factor authentication. I told myself I was overreacting. Then came the night that tipped the scale. We were back at the table. Mom had a new binder. Tap arrival. Ryan had a video cue of a helicopter landing over vineyards. Dad poured coffee like it was Bourbon decision day. Mom chirped. Monarch said, we need to commit now. Now pay the premium for the landing permit. They rarely offer it. It's fate. Mom said, it's marketing, I replied. Dad said, his cup down. Heart. Don't start. Ryan said, just say yes, man. Be a brother. Anthony's never missing her cue added, you'll understand when it's your turn. Like I was failing some test in generosity, that I looked at their faces, all expectant, like I was a vending machine that took kindness as payment. My stomach did a small quiet flip. I can't, I said. Dad cheered, scraped the room, froze like a photograph. How dare you refuse to help your brother? His voice wasn't loud, but sharp enough to bruised. I didn't argue. I stood, rinsed my cup, and said, I've got to be up early. I kissed Mom's temple, because love and boundaries can share the same mouth, and walked out. Driving home, I tried to decide if I was wrong. My phone buzzed twice. Ryan, you're unbelievable. Then Mom, will talk tomorrow when you're calm. I went upstairs, set my alarm, stared at the ceiling. I made a list in my head, not of payments this time, but of lines. Morning came. I made oatmeal, opened my banking app for my routine check before work, and then I stopped breathing. I stared at the screen for a full minute without blinking. The numbers didn't add up. My savings balance was a figure that belonged to someone else. The available line had collapsed like a tent in a storm. $88,000 gone overnight for transactions are wired to Sky Visto Aviation. A cashier's checked the Monarch events, but charged for locks. A debit labeled LC. Lighting DM. Why? Stomach went cold, then hot, then hello. I checked the time stamps. Wire initiated 1:42 m. Cashier's check purchased 8:57 p.m. at a branch across town for looks. Deposit hit 10:13 p.m. My phone had been on my nightstand. My card never left my wallet. BF showed verified by passcode. I felt sick. I called the bank. The hold music sounded like an apology. Carrie from the bank read the compliance script. We take on authorized activity. Seriously, she asked if anyone else had access. I said no, then thought of the iPad, the drawer, the post-it. I just changed my password. My voice sounded far away. She said they freeze my card, but if the passcode was used it would take investigation. That I drove to my parents' house without planning to. Mom sat with the binder open. Ryan flipping through brochures. Dad at the head like a judge. I held up my phone, explained this. Mom looked annoyed. We had to act fast. Monarch had another couple interested. Dad crossed his arms. Don't be dramatic, you'll make more. Ryan Grant. It's for love, man, not like we gambled it. It's not yours, I said calm. Mom leaned forward. It's family money. We're investing in a memory you stole, I said. That slammed the table. Watch it. Ryan shrugged. You leave your phone or out. Easy to guess your code. That sneered. This is what you get for being secretive. Abort to laugh. Secretive. It's my account. Mom smiled cold. He deserves a helicopter entrance. You don't want him looking cheap. $88,000. I said slowly. Ryan whistled. Sounds bigger out loud. Do your duty. As the older one there, it was the script. Duty means emptying yourself until nothing's left. I put away my phone. I'm not arguing. That smirk. Good. You're embarrassing yourself. I picked up my keys. Mom narrowed her eyes. Are you going home? I said. To do what I should have done long ago. You can't stop the party. Ryan said. Contracts or side. We'll see. Mom's voice turned sharp. Sweet. You'll ruin your brother's life over numbers on a screen. This isn't revenge, I said. It's closure. At the bank teller led me straight to an office. I told my story. Once she froze. The account flagged the transactions. Had me sign the affidavit. She added a passphrase. None of them could guess that I called Sky Vista. The man said no refunds. I gave him the fraud case number. If you fly that helicopter, you're part of a criminal transaction. He went quiet. Them. Monarch, the coordinator, smiled until I told her the same thing. Unauthorized funds case number that I gave the coordinator. A printed letter. Any contract signed in my name without consent would be contested. You have 24 hours, I said. Seeing Monarch's legal team. Then I call my phone provider. Remove all extra lines.